Hey guys, in part 2 of my project, 96 Ford Ranger XLT, today I power washed, sort of, the engine. I covered up the alternator and the distributor cap to prevent any water from getting in there. I mean, I didn't go crazy because there's just like so many wires and stuff like that and electronics that, I don't know, water and that stuff just don't really mix together, but it looks a little bit better, you know. So, this fender over here is starting to look pretty good, right? I used some Mother's synthetic wax and got out a lot of that adhesive. I haven't worked on the door yet, and so you can still see that there's still a lot of adhesive glue that's still on there, and I still have to figure out how I'm going to get that off easily. I don't want to rub like forever, you know. I power washed the car, the wheel wells and stuff like that. I had a lot of sand and dirt underneath it, maybe some tar. And also the bed. I mean, I had like so much sand and dirt in this bed. I'm gonna probably rhino paint all that, because instead of regular paint, you know, rhino paint protects it even more, especially when you're dumping a lot of crap in here. I was thinking about doing hardwood floors in here, like, you know, you see on Velocity and all that, but it would be so nice I wouldn't be able to put anything in there without scratching anything, so pointless. So I wasn't able to get the seat forward when I bought this truck, you know, so the seat was just stuck all the way in the back, and I kind of short, so I couldn't really reach the pedals too well, so it was uncomfortable to drive. So I looked underneath, and that cable that attaches this part to that part was broken. So basically I put some zip ties in there. And now it releases both sides off the track. So now I can move it backwards and forwards. So that was one thing. My next thing now is to mess with this key. Like I said, it's freewheeling here, right? It starts, but then I can't stop it, and the engine won't shut off. So I think it's that rod that connects the tumbler cylinder to the ignition switch that is off. So, you know, when you push it, it will start, but then it won't pull it back, so it stays in start. So I'm thinking I'm going to remove this column just to see what the story is. I've messed with one ignition before, an Acura Integra, but this is completely different. So I'm just going to take this shroud off and see what happens. So the shroud came off on the bottom. It's just 3 screws, actually only 2 screws. I don't know where the third one went, but, you know, look like wood screws. Not a big deal. So anyway, it looks like that. And I don't see any rod or any moving parts visibly to show that it's not pulling something back. I was looking at YouTube, other YouTubers telling me that there's this hole there where you can stick and just pull it out, which I'm gonna do. Oh, okay. I can't do this with one hand, so I'll be back. So I removed the cylinder, and when I was removing it, I didn't know that there were these 2 little small screws there. Not screws, but what am I trying to say here? Pins, I guess, on springs. A pin on a spring in that canal on both sides. And of course, what did I do? I lost the spring. So that thing is there. I have no idea where that spring is. So if I don't know where the spring is, I know it's not going to work right. I mean, it's got to put some pressure on this cylinder here. Anyway, the cylinder looks good. That's the part that goes into in there. And it looks okay. And I think the problem has got to be in the ignition switch, because something's not pulling back or something like that, and it doesn't look like this assembly has anything like that at all. So I don't know. I may have to take apart this bottom part to get to the ignition switch, which is in there. So this is interesting. While I was removing the shroud, right, torque screws, 2 there, and then 2 that holds the hood release. So when I got this truck, it was difficult to release the hood. It wouldn't work, you know. When you pulled it, nothing happened. So I think because I took this off, I found out why. It's actually sorry. It's actually bent. See? So if it's bent, that's like a couple of millimeters of slack there that's not being pulled onto the thing. So I'm gonna bend that back and make it straight, and even my hood release will work now. Anyway, I'm gonna take this shroud off now. Shroud is now off, but look what's in the way now. Holy cow, is this an armored truck or what? Jesus, I guess I gotta take that off too. Crazy. Way easier using a drill. Looks attached. Finally have a nice clear view of what the heck is going on. So I think the ignition switch is here. I think that's what it is. That's the apparatus that has all that, the rods and stuff, I believe. Message me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna have to remove that stuff and see if that's the problem. 7mm bit to get that out. Another torque screw over here. It's loose. There it is. You see that? No, sorry. This thing here is not going back. There you go. It had to do that. This shuts off the car. And it wasn't gripping on there, I guess. Well, maybe this is still good, because I don't see any evidence of any burnouts or anything like that, you know. Looks okay. I mean, it's kind of hard. Maybe it just needs to be oiled. I don't know if oil would be good for that. But apparently this must have come out from wherever that was attached to. It's in there. Yeah, that's it right there. So that thing goes into that hole, and it's supposed to, if you turn the key, it's supposed to move. I'm gonna do some more investigating by putting the tumbler back in and see. Okay, so here's what I'm finding out. So I've put the tumbler back in. Let me focus here for you. What am I doing? Look right here. Where is it? All right. Okay, so that's the hole, right? I'm turning the key and it's not moving. That's the reason why it doesn't shut off the engine, is because that thing is not attached to, where is that? I'm trying to show you. Oh, there it is. Okay. There. You see that? I'm moving the key back. There's the rod, right? But that's not moving. So that is disconnected from that. And how I'm going to attach that to that, I have no idea. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to go on the internet and figure out how that works. So it seems like for now that my ignition switch is okay. My tumbler is okay. I mean cylinder. Aside from missing the spring. I think I'm gonna have to get access to that rod that seems to be disconnected from the main. So I think I'd have to take that bolt off and drop this steering wheel just so I can see that area and why it's not connected. I hope the airbags don't go off, but it's not connected to any power, so I don't think it will. I hope not. Remove the bolts. 2 of them, both sides. And looks like it moves, but I got this like harness over here that I know I have to disconnect. But honestly, I'm a little weary about doing it because I don't want to screw things up, you know. I'm already missing that spring from the tumbler. So I'm gonna have to probably finish this another time. Continuation of part 2 into part 3. Ignition. So I removed the airbag, which I was really worried about doing, because it could explode on you. So that tells you to disconnect the power for at least a couple of minutes or so. But I wasn't worried about that because I didn't have any power. I already took the battery out to charge. So it's a screw there, and it's a screw over here, and disconnected this yellow wire. The yellow wire is always telling you that is the airbag. So I remembered where I, you know, took it out of and how it's placed. And it even helps out with these videos because now I can go back to the videos, and if I forget where I put it, now I know. So I've taken the steering wheel off, believe it or not. So it's one of these T47. I know you have to get these special tools. Take that off. So I took that off, and unfortunately I don't have a steering wheel puller, and apparently you need one of those. But I'm gonna just do it the old-fashioned way and just bang backwards until it does come off, you know. Eventually it will. I'll let you know how I do. So obviously I'm going to need some help since I didn't have that steering wheel puller. I'm using some of this PB penetrating oil. And basically that's supposed to loosen things up after a while. This is going to be a mess. Let that soak in a little bit. And do some pounding later. So I've temporarily put my steering wheel ignition project on hold because frankly it's been driving me absolutely crazy. So I'll get to it when I get to it. In the meantime, I went to Home Depot, and as you guys can remember, I've had that adhesive stuff that's stuck on here. Well, I went to Home Depot and I got this Matzenbacher's lift-off table label and adhesive remover. So I sprayed some on here, right? All over the truck, actually, where the stickers were. And let me tell you, I was skeptical in the beginning, and I didn't think, no way will it come off. But can I tell you? So you can see, right? Take a razor blade slightly, and it comes off like butter. I mean, I'm not even putting any effort into this, you know what I'm saying? And it's just dripping off. So I'm going to be able to clean up this truck relatively quickly. I mean, far quicker than I ever imagined I would. I mean, I thought I'd be, you know, slaving over a polisher for like a week or something like that. But let me tell you, I mean, this stuff is coming off like butter. I mean, like nothing, you know? I'll be done with this adhesive removal relatively quickly. I mean, so anyway, you get the picture, right? This, obviously, I have to fix it. I'm going to Bondo it. And then I'm probably going to sand this down and paint that fender because that just looks like crap. Here are remnants of the, you know, sticker removal where I was pulling too hard and it just basically peeled off the paint. So I'm going to have to paint this middle strip here and that fender black, which is pretty cool. So as you can see, here is where I sprayed some of that stuff. Now, I haven't even scraped it yet, but it looks like it's coming off all by itself, you know. So the bumper is a fiberglass bumper, and when I got it home, it almost fell off, you know, because it wasn't attached by any screws, just like a bungee cord or something. And it was really scratched up, so I took it off and I repainted that in the garage. So I power washed the bed today, and it, you know, looks pretty good. I'm probably going to rhino paint it. Here's some more of the stuff that I painted on there, sprayed on there. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. And so here's the bumper that I painted. Looks great, doesn't it? Really great. Anyway, that should dry by tomorrow. I'll probably spray a clear coat over it and put it back on the bumper. And maybe I'll mess with that. Maybe I'll mess with that actuator ignition rod tomorrow. Anyway, in the meantime, by tomorrow's time, I should have all the sticker residue off, which is a good thing. See you later.